I'm back! I'm back!
Well, hello, everybody. I hope this day finds you in a beautiful place and feeling blessed today. We're going to take a quick look at UpX. Many people have asked me to show you some of the numbers from UpX because most of the videos I do, I'm showing you the uptoken spreadsheets. Well, here's a little UpX spreadsheet for you today with a little bit of a explanation as to why we are so excited about this ecosystem. And then we're going to address some of the recent concerns some of the people have addressed around liquidity and what's going on with the UP and UpX token. But let's start off with this here. UpX, as you know, here's the UpX page, the dashboard for UpX. And we have two vaults open over here. Here's two vaults. We got Vault 1, Vault 2. Vault number 1 has, about 6.6 billion pulse in it. Vault number 2 has about 3.57 billion pulse in it. Now, if you add those two together, I think quick math comes out about 10.2 billion pulse. We have 10.2 billion pulse in the vaults borrowing money, and you can see we've already taken out loans of about $93,000. Now, again, large part of that goes back into buying pulse and pushing these numbers higher, getting the number of pulse in there. Some of it goes over into the stability pool, where we're taking those funds and we're going to go open up some validators here in the next few days. But some of the concern we're having is what's going to happen with this, with all of this money here. And you can see our next loan is going to happen at around when Pulse gets up to about 0.52, and we're currently at, what do we see up here? As of today, the Pulse price is sitting around 3.9. So we got a little bit of growth before we get another loan out of our vaults, but we're not expecting Pulse to stay still. So here's what I've done for you. I've taken this over here and I put all of those Pulse in one vault. Just it makes it easier. So I'm going to put that 10.2 billion Pulse in there. And our next loan, if not the 5.2, I'm going to just act like our next loan's at the 4 zeros and a 7 right here. That's when we're going to get our next loans. And we've already gotten to that point. It's actually going to be somewhere around 7.35 when these guys start triggering. But at that point in time, when we start triggering new loans, the vault's going to have about $700,000 in it. Because we got these 10 million or 10 billion pulse in there. And we start taking loans. And the next loan you see over here, this is the loan column. You start taking out every time the price goes up, and it goes from 8.9 to 9.3, 9.3 to 9.8, 9.8 to 1. You start taking out another 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 7,000, and the loans start growing. And each one of those loans, some of it buys new pulse, and we go grab another 42 million pulse or 43 million pulse. We keep adding to our pulse stack. We also send some of that money over into the stability pools to make additional validators and to get additional passive yield. So, it starts growing the amount of money we're throwing over here. What I want to look at though is not what happens when we get to 7, 8, and 9. We're not even back to sack rate here, but when we get back to sack rate, well, I want to just jump forward. We're going to assume that Richard does something, and on October 24th, the market starts to take off. The Fed cuts the rates. All these things start moving, and PulseChain starts taking off like we believe it's going to happen. Well, if we do that, and you jump down there to that yellow line you see down here, and this yellow line shows us we're at 3 times sack rate. Okay, which would put us, almost 10 times where we are now. But at 3 times sack rate, we're going to not have 10 billion pulse, but we're going to have 12.3 billion pulse in the vaults. The next loan we just took a $23,000 loan. And if the price goes up 5% more, we're going to take out another $25,000 loan. And then another $26,000 loan. So that by the time we go from 3 to 3.1 to 3.3 to 3.5 to 3.6, you can see we're borrowing about $100,000 in there. That, take 4 of those together, that's $100,000. Some of that's going to go buy more pulse. We're buying 46 million pulse, 47 million pulse, and some of that's going to go over to the buy and burn. And so this is a running total of the buy and burn. So now you got another $1,000 to $1,500 to go to buy and burn, another almost $1,500 to buy and burn. And so the buy and burn start getting another, $1,000 here and there. And with our small liquidity pools, that is a definite plus. It's going to push the price very high, very quick. So you can see that as the price starts moving up, we start getting larger and larger loans. Now this, we would be excited as hell if we could get to this by the end of this year. Who knows when we're going to get to 3 times sack rate? But the goal for PulseChain is not 3 times sack rate. Let's say we get down here and we're at what is that? 7 times sack rate? 7 times sack rate. What are the loans at now? Now the loans are at 55,000, 58,000, 61,000. Now you're grabbing 50,000 every time the price ticks up from 6.2 to 6.6 to 6.9 to 7.2. You're grabbing $50,000, $60,000. And the buy and burn, because everybody's worried about the buy and burn. Well, I'm not so much worried about the buy and burn. I want to see this treasury build. I want to go from 10 billion tokens to 13 billion tokens. And I want to see How much is that worth? Well, the USDL we've got now is starting to tick up very high, and you see we've sent a total of $270,000 over into the stability pool to build more validators to get more passive yield. And the loans we're talking about a $3,500 buy and burn here. And then if we get to that next tick up in price and we go from 6.9 to 7.2, we'll have another almost $4,000 in buy and burn. And it starts to tick up pretty fast. Now, if you're in PulseChain for a 7x sack rate, I don't know if that was the goal for many of you, but it's not my goal. I'm thinking Richard's going to do a little bit better than that. And if we tick on down and we get down here to some of the numbers we were hoping for, let's say we get to a 30x sack rate, 30x sack rate. So we're at two zeros and a three basically. Look at each loan. The next loan is going to be $280,000 loan. And then the loan after that's $297,000 loan. And the buy and burns are now, $17,000 each time. This is where we're headed, everybody. This is the excitement behind UpX and the uptoken is we get these massive loans and Pulse doesn't have to do a 10,000x if we just get to a 30x from sack rate, you can see these loans and this, we can go back. They started being 200,000 way back here when it was 2.2 and then 2.3, you get another couple 100,000 and 2.3, you get this is the design of the uptoken. It's not what's happening while we're sitting down here at these 4 zeros and a 7, 4 zeros and an 8, 4 zeros and a 9. Don't expect to see miracles when we're just starting to get PulseChain from being gate kept and we're starting to move on. It's down here that we're going to get extremely excited. And what do you think is going to happen when you bring $17,000 into our liquidity pools? Well, guys, they're not going to be there. So the people that are talking about our liquidity pools are too small. They're not looking at the big picture. They're just looking at what's happening right now. But if you're looking at the big picture, once these numbers start trickling in, it gets really exciting. So let me take you through a Word doc that I put together here for us. Oh, not that one. That was the old one. Here we go. Here's the one we want. So we want everybody in our ecosystem to win. That means profits. And if the concern is, hey, liquidity's small. It's like, what are we going to do here? We got this small liquidity. Well, it's not going to freaking stay there. It's ridiculous. But let's go through their concerns. Here's concern. Low LP is a red flag. I agree. It can be. But instead of lumping all projects into one bucket, maybe you take the time to look at the token design and its team. Ask some questions. Why do we not have more liquidity? Why didn't the founder and the team not supply a larger liquidity? We weren't given any tokens. We bought every token we have. Haunted wasn't given any tokens. He purchased them just like you and I did. So the people that are providing liquidity are the community. And so you can't say, hey, why isn't the team doing it? Or why isn't the founder doing it? We don't have a treasury of tokens over here that we're willing to throw in here and sell. Our job is not to go grab 100,000 UpX tokens or 1,000,000 UpX tokens and throw them in liquidity and sell those damn things. That's not the design. The community wants a bigger LP. The community will build a bigger LP. That's just the way it is. We don't have a founder supply where everybody's going to go and say, hey, take care of us. In fact, you don't want that to happen. Some of the concerns around some of the other tokens that are out there are that, hey, the founder has a whole bunch of tokens that he just gave himself, and now he's providing LP. Well, you know what he's doing? He's selling free tokens. He got a bunch of free tokens and he's selling them. Because as those things go up in price, he's losing those tokens to Pulse or USDC or USDL or DAI or whatever he's paired them with, and he's gaining the other token and he's selling tokens. So, we're not all built the same. So is our low LP a concern that the founder didn't throw it in? No, it's actually a benefit. Okay, so what are the team's plans to increase the size of the LP? Well, we've got those, and we'll share those with you as we go through this. But we don't expect the LP to stay this size. Okay, here's another concern. Lower LP is a sign of an underdeveloped market. Not arguing that. It does provide more volatile prices. Traders try to game the market. Yeah, there's no doubt that we've seen prices run up and run down in our low LP. But it also means the BW's buy and burns can eliminate more tokens as short-term investors take their small profits and leave. We have some short-term people in here that are playing games with our token. They're buying, they're selling, they're trying to game our system. They do that in every token. It's not just up token. They'll do it in everything. So yeah, those people are in here, and but as they keep the price low, as they start to game the market, then the buy and burns are just going to be larger for us. And it is true that PulseChain is still young. There's no doubt that we are an underdeveloped market. We're young. But as the market cap of PulseChain grows, so will the LP. If we get a 10x in Pulse, our market cap grows 10x just because we're paired with Pulse. But also, as you start seeing those 10Xs, you're going to start seeing people join the LP game. So here's concern number 3 here. It says lower LP increases the risk of somebody nuking the price. Yep, we're not denying that. It happens. We've seen it in other tokens. And this gives new investors a great entry point. We've watched UpX drop all the way back down to minting rate. One pulse, one UpX. But look at where we're at now. We've already rebounded. We're back up to, a 50% increase over your sacrifice rate for those who got in there. So it gives you a great entry rate. It allows current holders to grow their holdings. That's me. I mean, think of Michael Saylor. The guy is buying Bitcoin every month. I'm buying more Up and UpX every month. I get paid every month, and some of those funds go back into crypto. I'm building a portfolio. I am not here for the short term. I'm not that guy who's playing the system trying to, exit at a 2x or a 3x or a 50% gain. And we also have the LPX, which helps price rebound after the dumper suffers the loss. The dumper is going to eat some slippage, and then the LPX comes back in and it buys it back up. So we have this LPX system built in our ecosystem that is designed specifically to hurt the dumpers and make them suffer additional loss, and then grow it right back up to where it was before they start dumping. All right. So concerns. What happens is we see the X's and a holder wants to realize profits. Well, that's why we're here, everybody. We're here for profits. We want to see you win. We want everybody in Up and UpX to win. The question is, will the LP be large enough? Is selling their best option? What are the other options? So here we go. Let's run through this list. So the holder can sell in small batches and avoid slippage, but many will want to hold onto their appreciating asset. That's just, I'm not I didn't jump into this thing and look at this spreadsheet over here and say to myself, oh, I'm going to sell way in the hell back here at this first yellow band. I'm going to try to get out when we are at a 3x sack rate. I'm not exiting here. I don't think I'm exiting anything for quite some time. In fact, if we get these lending functions, I'm probably never selling a damn token. I will provide liquidity to help the market, help our community. And so I'll naturally end up getting some of my tokens sold that way through generating a yield. But I'm not doing it now. Why am I not doing it now? Because I don't want to sell my Up token and my UpX tokens at this price rate. But it is a natural function. Here's number 2. Here's the big one that the people that are screaming about liquidity don't want to think about. It is the natural function of all successful tokens that liquidity will grow organically. Okay, as one's crypto dollar value gets large, is all of a sudden, my $5,000 turned into, $500,000 or $250,000. It's like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. So how do I realize profits on that? Well, that person typically says, I don't want to sell these tokens because they see what in the hell's happening, how this thing was designed. So then they start to learn about providing liquidity. When I first joined crypto, I didn't provide liquidity. It's like, what the hell? That's way too damn complicated. Had no idea how it worked. But then as the dollar value starts getting bigger, it's like, okay, I want to get a yield on that. You start getting up there in the 5-6 figures, and it's like, okay, I want a yield on that money. I don't want to just sit here and do nothing, but I don't want to be, as Richard says, picking up pennies in front of freight trains. So then they start learning about how to provide liquidity. And so that's a game that most people go through in their crypto journey. And then, our community will do the same. They'll take their $1,000 that they put into, Up and UpX, and all of a sudden it's worth 10,000 or 20,000. It's like, okay, now I have enough money to come in here and start thinking about learning how to do liquidity. Because if you start getting 10% yield, 20% yield on 5-6 figures, it's something you want to learn how to do. So the yield from providing liquidity is proven to be enough profit mining to allow investors to avoid. I think I screwed up that sentence. The yield from providing liquidity has proven to be enough. Let me get rid of some INGs here. To be enough. So it's proven to be enough profit mining to allow investors to avoid selling their tokens. So that's the point. So it's going to be a natural function right here, guys. Natural function. It's a natural function of a growing, developed ecosystem to come in and see liquidity grow. Number 3, the community does have the liquidity bonanza, which when the time is right, will bring an infusion of additional liquidity. I think we've ran one cycle of liquidity bonanza where we've taken, hey, who wants to win 10,000 Up tokens? And you send some pulse to an address. That pulse is used to go buy the token, the Up token, and we paired it up with half of the other pulse that was given. and it went into the liquidity pool. So liquidity bonanza is something we can do to increase liquidity. The timing's just not right now. The market, nobody's paying attention. If we ran a bonanza right now, there's probably 20, 30 people in our community that would participate. We want to do that when the market's hot. That's when you want to start growing liquidity. Okay, there's a strong possibility that holders of Up and UpX will have access to a lending platform that allows for using their assets as collateral to get loans. And it could come from an Aave fork, a liquidity fork, or some internally designed lending platform, but there will be lending for your Up and UpX. So those who don't want to sell their tokens, but they want to realize profit, they'll have this ability. So the summary here, right here, is that liquidity will grow as PulseChain ecosystem grows, and you will have other options to realize profits beyond selling. So those who are saying, oh, the liquidity is not big enough to get out, there'll be a whole hell of a lot of people that don't want to get out. But if you do sell, sell smart. If someone does a mass exit, the LPX will help, as will the BW and its constant buy pressure. And so I'll take us back to this beautiful little chart. The buy pressure gets ridiculous. Everybody's looking at the buy pressure right now saying, oh, you went from 6,300 to 6,600. You're only grabbing an extra $400 or $500 every time the price ticks up. Agree. But then again, we're not even back to SAC price on Pulse yet. So when we get back to SAC price, and then we start jumping from 10.34 to 10.86 to 11, then it's like, okay, now we're getting, $500, $600 worth of buy pressure each time it ticks up. But we're not in PulseChain trying to get back to the SAC rate. We want to get up here to the 30x SAC rate. And once you get past this, guys, and let's say we get the what is this? This is almost a 70x SAC rate. 70x SAC rate. The next loan 700,000. And then 727,000. That's a loan. We're going to borrow that much more money because we're now sitting at 15 billion pulse. 15 billion pulse. It just gets, and we're going to be buying another 59 million. Another 59 million. We keep adding to our pulse supply. And the buy and burn now, that jump right there, what is that? That's a $40,000 jump. So we got to go add $40,000 worth of buy pressure to our liquidity pool. You start adding 40,000 every jump, and there will be people providing liquidity. You do not have to worry about small LP as this designed system starts showing you exactly what it's going to do. So I hope this hopium, squashes some of the FUD out there that might be like, oh, this is, we're an underdeveloped token, and the answer is true because PulseChain's underdeveloped. But once this thing starts growing, it's going to melt faces. I hope you're here. I hope you bought more UpX and up, and your bag is set, and you're not looking to exit at a 2x because if PulseChain does start taking off and it goes 2x and 3x, I don't think it's going to stop there. I think it's going at that point it's proven itself and it's going to run. So hopefully you're in this ecosystem for the right reasons, and you don't exit with that 5x thinking that that's all we're going to get out of this ecosystem. Because if we get to 5x, we're going to 50x. So we're going to 500x. And at that point, Up and UpX are in record books. We've broken everything in crypto because everybody's going to look over to us and go, what in the hell did they do? Because this design is incredible. Mathematically speaking, it's the best thing I've ever come across. It does not rely on volume like some of the other tokens. Like, oh, we need paired bonding and liquidity pools, and we need volume. No, we just need PulseChain to perform. PulseChain performs, and this thing it's glorious. All right, beautiful people. Hopefully, I pumped you up. You have a beautiful day, and maybe go buy a few more Up and UpX tokens.